Hi all, this is Venu. Today I am going to explain about the evaluation of the relationship between leaders' mindfulness on employee well-being. Just dive into the abstract before going to the introduction. The research in the past have found that the mindfulness of a employee and leader have their impacts on the well-being at work. It collaborated the aspects of the leaders and employees. This research deals with the mindfulness of leaders only and impacts on well-being of the employees. Further, in this research, it has been argued that the skills of the leader have to be developed towards making the right changes in the characteristics of being focused with clarity and creativity. The mindfulness of the leader has its impact by its relationship with the well-being of the employees. This research was conducted to seek the elements of positive or negativity in the well-being of employees in different areas such as job satisfaction, emotional stability, and the work exhaustion. Positive results have been arrived as findings have suggested that employees in different times and different workplaces have got positive impacts on their well-being by the mindfulness of the leaders. Coming to the intro, the mindfulness is a tool used by the leaders to be non judgmental and not recalling the old things in their decision making process, as they have to be engaged with the current scenario and to seek the future with their active intention by checking the environment of the work. Leaders became creative and more focused to deal with the current situation so that they can make right decisions for the employees. When the mindfulness of the leaders get actively contributed towards the workways of the employees, then it leads to have well-being on positive side for employees. Leaders are thoughtful, active, accurate, psychologically engaged, and mentally active at work as they think to create the compassion for making the right choices at work. If these elements are rightly engaged at work by the leaders to consider the employees as center for their attention, then this mindfulness of leaders bring positive impacts on the employees' well-being. This factor is also engaged with the value of change that the leaders have to create vision for the employee with clarity to handle the current situation of change. However, for the time being, employees can consider it not favorable for them as they may have to change their current ways of job. But on long-term benefits, the changes with the mindfulness of the leaders have concerned beneficial arrangements for the employees. Coming to the aims and objectives of this or this presentation, the aim of this research study is to evaluate the effects of leaders' mindfulness on the employee well-being. For this purpose, the objectives are to assess the dimension and factors related to the mindfulness of the leader in organizational context, to assess the dimensions and factors related to employee well-being in organizational context, and to explore the secondary data on the relationship between leaders' mindfulness and employee well-being in organizational context. Uh, Coming to the literature review, the mindfulness of the leader is a way of inspiration as they inspire the employees first and then they think to involve the beneficial elements of job for them. On the contrary, it was argued by Carlton, Barling, and Trevisono that the leaders being mindful focus on their own job responsibilities as they think on more creative ways by their gesture of work. They do not want to stay normal at work by creating vision to the employees as the inspiration factor comes after that. Furthermore, the intensity of the job matter for the mindfulness of the leaders that they not only want the current situation of a work better stabilized, but the aim of the bringing changes is also developed by them. The task of the company can be harder, but the mindfulness of the leaders make things possible not only for their impactful working ways, but to keep the employees aware that this is the need of the current time. So they have to be prepared for that. The leader have their dimensions of mindfulness as they have the clear intentions of the practice of mindfulness. They are engaged with the aim that mindful practices have to be involved in their current working progress, not just the normal piece of work, but to make it an intended effect. Further dimension is the overall control with attention so that the things should not get out of control. Along with that, there are wholesome values of the emotions that they have to be engaged by making working conditions for the employees and as employers are the human beings, not machines. The insights and purposeful focus is also a dimension of mindful leadership as the focus should be there, but the purpose should not be forgotten by the employers, means the leaders. Employee well-being is a set of broad values that the dimensions are related to the setting of work, the workload management, control of the job, security, the working relationships, organizational justice, work-life balance, and the importance and acceptability at workplace. Further, social, mental, and physical well-being values are involved in employee well-being. Undoubtedly, the leaders encourage employees to be more creative to complete the task, but along with that, they keep themselves thoughtful first, as they have to set examples for the employees. The mindfulness leaders are bias free as they see the happening without any favoritism and discrimination. Their focus is only the enhancement in the working plan with the motivation of the employees. Cirone further stated that the employees' well-being reaches the optimum point when they get their high job satisfaction. They show more commitments when the mindfulness of the leaders creates ways of security of jobs, safety measures for the employees at workplace, and overall long-term effectiveness for the whole organization. The methods that are observed in this research are research type. There are two types of researchers as primary and secondary. In the primary research, the raw data is collected, and in secondary research, the collection of data is done with which is already available. This research deals with the secondary type, where the information is already collected and it's ready to use. Research approach which we use, the inductive approach has been used in this research that the exti- existing theories are used for the investigation of the objectives of the study and the conclusions are made. The nature of this research is exploratory as the problem is on preliminary stage and the study has been conducted to explore the questions with the help of the secondary data and theories. The strategy of this research is qualitative and as it is deals with the study of behavior theories and different literature reviews. Coming to the data collection, the data for this research has been collected from the secondary source of internet as Google Scholar, journal articles, the online resource of a university and both. For the data analysis, discourse analysis has been used. And the results of this research are by searching the different articles from the different authentic sources of the web, it has been found that the dimensions and factors of the mindfulness of the leaders have their positive impact and leadership with the factors and dimensions of the employee well-being. The mindful practices of the leaders are stated to make the right settings of work for the employees. It has been found that the leaders check the working ways of the employees, that how they can get comfortable at work with the different tasks, so that the thoughtful decisions are made by the leaders. Leaders are not motivational entities, so they take the considerations of the emotional factors of the employees as well. They design the workload management in a way that the employees can be motivated and they should not get emotionally disturbed at any stage of work. Employees want justice at work and they get it when the accurate forces of the mindful practices of the leaders are applied into it. It also leads to bring positive working relationships for the employees also. The results of this research also indicate that the impact of the leader mindfulness is positive on the employee well-being, as most of the sources have indicated the factor of leaders' mindfulness with their clear intention as employees consider it on positive side. There is a positive relationship between the leader mindfulness and the employee well-being. It has been derived from the impacts of a former to the latter. They may face difficulties in some stages, but the optimum results come with the values of the positivity. Though the intention of the leaders to get changes in the working environment have made discomfort in the working ways of the employees, but it comes on the temporary basis as the employees, by getting aware of the long run benefits, can understand the need of the current situation and then they get along with the decisions of the leaders for better changes. It is always happen that the leaders have to bring the changes in working areas. They can connect it towards the current phases of work to make it more accurate in a way that the employees are made more responsible by the thoughtful decisions of the leaders, not to bring the changes, but to bring the correctness in the current working ways of the employees. It has been found in this research that mindfulness of the leader has impact on the well-being of the employees. These values shares the positive relationship as the mindfulness of the leaders make employees better engaged with the job satisfaction, job security, and right working conditions at workplace. Each value of the dimensions of the thoughtfulness of leaders covers the value of the employee well-being. Employees are concerned with the mindfulness practices of the leaders as they expect that the leaders with their motivational values at work will make ease towards the different aspects of the employee well-being, such as the security at job, working relationship, and organizational justice. With this, I conclude my presentation, and here are the references. Thank you.